We're on day 250 of Ukraine's resistance. This is Mediacentru Ukraine. My name is Vasil Samokhvalov, and our third briefing of the day will be talking about culture and arts. With us are Sofiia Lenartovych, author of the idea and text of the project entitled Voices, as part of the Muses Are Not Silent concert series. With us also is Dmytro Naumets, director and project coach. You will explain to us what a project coach is. Thank you. And we have with us Bohdan Sehin, Chief Commercial Officer of the Lviv National Philharmonic for the development of national music. For the development of contemporary music, sorry. I think perhaps we'll start with Bohdan and then we'll detail that. Hello. I would like to first of all to stress that the project of Ukraine 2022, Muses Are Not Silent, Muses Speak, has been active since late March, and together with Volodymyr Sehin, the director, we have presented several projects here at the Media Center, and I'm happy that today we've been given the opportunity to present the Voices project, which will take place the day after tomorrow at Lviv Philharmonic. Another brief statistic is that since this late March until today, we've had over 60 over 60 broadcasts on our YouTube channel. We keep getting more and more donations, more and more views from abroad and from Ukraine, and we keep getting more opportunity to support Ukrainian artists. We primarily give them the opportunity to present their projects at our platform, and we also often find financial opportunities to support Ukrainian artists. I would like to give the floor now to Sofiia and Dmytro for them to give you a clear idea of the Voices project that will take place the day after tomorrow on Wednesday. Yeah, perhaps Pani Sofiia, because I've read the description of the project, and as someone who's pretty far from arts, I didn't understand what this was. Could you explain to us? Hello? The fact that you didn't understand was kind of expected because it's art, but we wanted to find a more practical side to this entire event, because the poems themselves deal with the concepts of loss, of reconstituting your personal boundaries without which you cannot protect yourself, and the topic of homecoming, coming home to yourself. Voices, the reason we call it Voices is because we mix different types of art, and in this way we wanted to bring the poetry to life. So this will include both music and archaic old singing, song, and dance, and this all what becomes this performance. Perhaps Dmytro will tell us what it looks like. What is it? It's a unique event. First of all, it really is a eclectic amalgamation of different styles, of different actions. This is primarily it's about humanity, about the pain and the loss of humanity, and how do you recover yourself when you're in pain. And we've put together, there's a text at the basis of it, then we've added music, and tried to also bring it together with movement. How does our body respond when we are in pain? Because if we recall the earliest months of the war, I'm sure we were all in a stupor, and I'm sure that our bodies were in a bit of a stupor as well, and we're sort of trying to figure out how to liberate our emotions through the body, through movement, through song. It's not for nothing that Ukrainian culture has Holosinya, has the culture of women weeping at a funeral, and so this kind of plaint chant. You ask what it means that I'm the coach. Well, the first thing that you have to do with the artists, you have to bring them together. You need to bring them to a common denominator, because we have all of these very difficult creative people. First of all, it's very difficult to bring their schedules together, but then also in terms of ideas, bring them together in terms of ideas and in terms of movement, because everyone possesses a unique language. But how do we bring it all together? So thanks to all this, this is what I was doing. I had these practices, and this is what I was trying to convey. What will it look like? Text. Imagine a text that is combined, that is voiced against the backdrop of music, and at the same time we see a sort of ephemeral soul that is responding to what is happening in space. I guess this is not very clear. So this is what. But the reason I'm saying this is because I want people to come in and experience this thing, because there's a lot we can say, and it's better to see it and experience it. We're doing this in order to live through it ourselves and give it to our viewers. Could you tell us a bit more about how people will be able to see this? Where are they supposed to go to see this? What do they buy? How long will it take? Will this be only for Lvivians or not only for Lvivians? Could you tell us a bit about, so that people like myself could partake in this art, so that they know what they're supposed to do. So the project will take place at the Lutkevich Concert Hall at the Lviv National Philharmonic. This will be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. on November 2nd. Tickets can be bought either at our ticket operator on the website, or the Philharmonic website, or at our ticket office on the day of the event. The prices fluctuate from 150 hryvnia to about 250 hryvnia. Viewers will be mostly in the balcony, so we have some limits as to the number of viewers. We can accommodate 200 viewers in the Philharmonic. Why the balcony? Because the floor and the foyer are our space for our humanitarian hub. Sometimes we seat viewers in the ground floor if we expect a lot of viewers. Apart from the fact that this will be live and offline with viewers in the room, because this project is part of the Muses Are Not Silent, this is a concert series of online events that we started in late March. The project will be available live online. It will be streamed on the official YouTube channel of the Lviv National Philharmonic. This will be announced everywhere, on Facebook, on the Philharmonic site, Philharmonia Lviv UA, our Telegram channel. So this will be announced and is announced. Also, the streaming is already there. We already have the interactions with that. People are already expecting it. This is the normal practice, because we've had over 60 streams since almost since the very start of the war. We have our audience, but we still continue to announce, to advertise both for the Ukrainian and international audience. So you mentioned about the 60 streams. Perhaps I would like to ask more about the numbers and facts, not just the art. Who is this aimed at? Who are the people who are coming to the Philharmonic today? How many people have come to the Philharmonic as part of this project since the start? Look, we haven't done the official statistics. Perhaps we'll start someday, but so far we have this more of a mental statistics. And what I can say is that since the start of the war, when we started our work, this was late March, we started without viewers, without visitors. This was purely online. Since mid-May, we started letting people in. We started having festivals. We've had 3 festivals this time, 3 major festivals over this time. And I have to say that the first 3, 4, 5 months, we had very different viewers and listeners than those who would come before the war. And I will say why. I will explain why. Because we've had a lot of IDPs. We had a lot of people supporting their friends who were performing. These were also musicians from Kyiv, Kyiv. Former IDPs from Donetsk. We've also had those who came to who moved to Kyiv or Kharkiv. Were also part of this project. We've had a great pianist from Chernihiv. He's now back in Chernihiv. So about second half of July, the return of people back to Kyiv, then Chernihiv, other places started. Some people even came back to Kharkiv, and now we have our basically more of our usual viewers, listeners. But basically, the Philharmonic are very democratic in terms of our policy. We're open to everyone. You know, if you look at the Philharmonic website, then in addition to the Ukraine 2022 Muses Are Not Silent, we also have other concerts for all kinds of viewers and listeners. Except I have to stress again that Muses Are Not Silent is essentially now the only project that is regularly streamed on the YouTube channel. Which of the projects have been most exciting for you personally, or some interesting story that you would like to make public? You know, when someone comes in, well, what is Muses Are Not Silent? What is something interesting that happened? Well, primarily I would mention the international visitors that came in and who will be coming and who want to come. The first international performance came in mid-May. We've had a violinist from France and a conductor from Poland. In August, we've had people from Germany, from France, from Spain, and I guess this is a kind of this goes to show that art really brings people together, and these people who came in to support us with their artistry and with their heroism. I mean, they didn't say this out loud. They were talking about us when they came in, and we spent some time with them. And then later, with over coffee, they would say, we can't believe you're doing all these events and projects in the conditions you're working in. Like I said, we've already had 3 major festivals. We had the Virtuosi Festival, the Early Music Festival in August, and the Contrast Contemporary Music Festival that just ended, that took place in early October. Another thing that really touched me was the viewership on YouTube, because we've activated the chat. All of our chats are streamed, and we have two bilingual moderations. We have English, and we have our audience in America, in England, we've had some no, South Africa. South Africa, I think, but we've had these very remote locations, yes, remote places, and people were waiting for our streams. For instance, we had the situation like on the 10th, first day of this that massive attack on Ukraine. We were supposed to have the final concert of the Kontrasty postlude. Obviously, we rescheduled the concert because we didn't have power. And we decided, well, the people are not interested in this. And it turns out people are very interested in this because they'd bought tickets, and we put it in our media that the concert is being rescheduled. People immediately ask, when will it happen? And we decided we have to set the date, and then, God willing, everything will be fine. And so on the 18th, we held this postlude, this closing ceremony, and we had viewers writing in the chat that thank you so much that this is happening, because we really do want to get the full picture of the festival. The full picture of the festivals from the first project to the last. But perhaps I still have a question for Sofiia and Dmytro. So obviously the basis of your performance or your project is a poem, is poetry. How do you expect to convey it in English to your English viewership? Or will it be? I think it will be perceived as it is, because it's not just the poem, it's not just the text. Coming back to the concept of the event, this is what it's like. This is why we include different forms of art to reach people from different corners of the world. And it seems to me that it's this mix, this combination of different forms, will be this universal artistic language. Could you tell us a bit more about the team, perhaps? How did you get all these people together? Because obviously, everybody in their own different world, with their concerns. What sort of problems did you face? What did you run into in creating this one collective from them? Well, the idea to create this project I had even prior to the full-scale invasion. Actually, a few days before February 24th, we had this first rehearsal with a different lineup of people, and of course, myself and Dmytro were there, but the artists, due to the war, some of them moved abroad, and we had to look for other people. And it was me. I was looking at people whom I know well, whose work I value and respect. Among musicians, we have Vsevolod Sadovy, a multi-instrumentalist, and he's excellent. He's also an excellent specialist in archaic and folklore music. He plays in other musicians. I'm sure people have heard Kurbasi, Perihi Batich, and others. We also have Darina Durina, a really universal singer. She is good in different styles and techniques. Also a choreographer, our dancer, Yulia Vusic, has danced at the Chilo Dance Theater, and also has a lot of experience and background. And we came together because we were brought together by joint ideas and values, common ideas and values, and we want to hold the cultural line, because what are we fighting for if it isn't for for culture? Do you have anything to add, sir? No, because I wanted to ask, what should people who come in, what should they know to? And you just answered that. As to the previous question, how will this be seen? I think Charlie Chaplin, when the first talkie movies appeared, he didn't want this transition, right? Because silent movies are more universal, and in spite of the fact that we do have text and we're text-based, we still text is a basic thing that we push ourselves from. Those plastic vocal etudes that we have developed, they help us delve deeper. I think that we need this proper switch and this feeling, this sense, and I'm convinced, and this has been proved through many projects, that an international audience, even without knowing the lyrics, they understand the vibe, to use this kind of newfangled, this kind of more modern word, and I'm sure that we will be understood. And I call on everyone who intend to come see us to let go of your preconceptions and simply delve and experience. Um, because, you know, it's not just the rational analysis and saying, oh, this must have meant this must have meant that. No, let yourself experience the thing. As for the collective, I think that to an extent this is a bit of a window. This is the opportunity to create in difficult times. And thanks to the entire team, I had the opportunity to work, because I basically don't appear on stage, but through working with these creators, I get these ideas, and I really want to help these artists, and we create something together that is valuable to us. If it is valuable and important to us, then hopefully it'll be interesting to others as well. And thank you very much for supporting. I would like to thank the Philharmonic for supporting us, because without you, you know, preparing a stage play is one thing, but showing a stage play is another thing. I just have another quick comment, if possible. I'll just roll back a little bit, and I just say that when the idea for this project came up, because we already had a project as part of Muses Are Not Silent with poetry, it was called Among the Sirens. It took place in June. This was 8 or 9 different poets, including Sofiia, who were performing on the stage of Philharmonics with their wartime poetry written in our days. And between the performances, or even during the performances, my good friend Nazar Stets, the double bass player from Kyiv, was playing music, and he was there to perform modern classical music on the double bass, and including some improvisations. This was in Ukrainian. This was entirely. Of course, this is an additional difficulty for Dzmytro Sofian, who sits there and moderates the chat. She even had to translate some of the things, and I'm sure that on Wednesday, if there are any questions from our international viewers, what might this mean, or what's the name of this blog, she will translate it. But in general, it's a much more intuitive and emotional perception than a rational one. And additionally, there's the sense that we are showing a professional artistic product. Thank you very much. I guess I wish you a great viewership, and I hope that this is not just one event, but this is a constant and very successful project. We would like to thank our guests today. With us were Sofiia Lenartovych, author of the idea and author of the text; Dmytro Naumets, director and project coach, who told us about the idea of what his coaching implies; and Bohdan Sehin, commercial director of the Lviv National Philharmonic for the development of contemporary music, who told us not only about this project, but also how about the Muses Are Not Silent were functioning since